Hey, Dr. Darcy here. I keep getting questions about self care versus self love. And I love helping you distinguish between them because they're really pretty different. Think about self care, how often it's like a list of external things to do, like, take a bubble bath and go get a massage and go to a yoga class and work out and meet up with people that you love. I love all those things. And I think self care lists are really wonderful sometimes and super important. But have you ever noticed that sometimes you use your self care list to sort of do the flogging, self criticizing thing? Like, well, so what if I didn't go to the yoga class? Or what if I feel too tired today to work out? Or if I was way too tired, but I did it anyway? And what if I didn't go to bed 15 minutes earlier today? By definition, if it's something that's squish you and feel crappy about yourself, it can't be the same as self-love. So I want you to think of self-love as that inner journey of honoring the sacredness of your own soul, also of holding yourself as precious, lovable, valuable, and worthy within your own heart. And here's what's so cool. When you practice self love, one of the big principles is to make your own inner guidance your highest authority. Make your own inner guidance your highest authority. And what's blessed about that is when we're practicing that, even if not perfect, because it's never a perfect, and even if it's awkward sometimes, and even if you're not quite sure, when you make that the intention to make your own inner guidance your highest authority, that is an awesome way to practice self-love. And it's also an awesome way to then decide which of the things on your self-care list is actually a self-loving action. Because there are times when I'm not in the mood to work out that it is not for me to do. There are other times when I am not in the mood to work out. And my inner guidance is like, yes, ma'am. It is what there is for you to do. That's why self-care lists can be it's kind of a little bit of a slippery slope. When you check in with your own inner guidance, it is never just black or white. That's what's wild. It also will never steer you wrong. It's actually principle number 2 for self-love practice is making your own inner guidance your highest authority. So when you have the intention to check in and go, highest and best, what's most kind for me? What's the most loving? What is the most self-loving thing here? When you go within in your own inner wisdom, your own inner guidance, that inner being, your higher self, that inner voice of love, the inner voice of God, the universe itself, any of those titles, it's that inner guidance. And I promise you that when you have the intention to more and more make that your highest authority, not your to-do list, that's not going to be your highest authority anymore, not what your spouse or friends say you should do, that's not going to be your highest authority anymore, not what your parents or your ministers or rabbis or books or speakers or anybody else has to do. When you have the intention of making your own inner guidance your highest authority, what's cool is the practice of self-love is going to be what is the primary experience. And then from knowing and experiencing what things are loving and kind, that's when it's going to point over to, I'm going to check out my self-care list here. Which is there for me to do today? Which is there for me to let myself off the hook today? Which is like, that's actually not even super loving to me. It may be tomorrow. and it maybe was last month, your own inner guidance. So I'm going to give you 3 pretty simple ways and super powerful ways of you helping to tune into your own inner guidance. The first one is, if you have a question, which thing is kind of highest and best for me? Is that something my inner guidance is saying to me? Here's how you know. The first way to hear your own inner guidance is to go, which thing would you want that special person that you adore to do? With me, it's always my kid. It's always Nick. I can play around with my awesome significant other and my mom also, but almost always my go-to is, what would I want Nick to do? And that's because it sits as what's kind, what's right in my soul. All right. A second it's pretty easy way to listen to your own inner guidance. Ready for this? I know it's can go against some of the grain in your brain and your mind and your habit, but it's really important. The second way to know it's your inner guidance is just if it feels good. Does it feel like relief or joy or inspiration or happiness? Now, here's what's weird. It doesn't always just feel good like I want to do it, but it sets as right with you. It's like inspiring. Remember that example I used before? There are times about working out that even if my head's like, I don't want to, when I think like, oh, is that what's for me to do? And I feel all inspired, like jazzed up, kind of like, yeah, you could feel it. If it makes you feel happy, if it makes you feel loving, if it makes you feel inspired, if it makes you feel empowered, if it makes you feel kind of sassy in that good way, if something feels good, it's good. And the third, pretty easy way to take note of your own inner guidance is this thing that I like to call the sliding board breath. Remember how you'd like, when you were a little kid, you'd go up the steps on the sliding board and then the long kind of slidey way down. So you inhale, it's like going up the steps. On the exhale, make it long and drawn out. And then as if you came to the end of a long sliding board, just sit for a minute. Long inhale, sliding board exhale. And now just sit for a minute at the end of that. Just see if you notice anything. Maybe it's a body experience. Maybe it's a breath that takes you. Maybe a thought drops in. So those are the 3 easy ways you can have access to your own inner guidance. One is, which choice do you wish that person that you loved would do? Second one is, which feels like love or joy or happiness or goodness? That's probably your inner guidance. And the third is, nice big inhale. After the long exhale, just kind of sit. I like to sit, for like 10 to 30 seconds and just see if anything occurs to you. I'm Dr. Darcy Lord. I'm a self-love expert, and it is my joy to bring you these uplifting videos. Please give me a thumbs up if you know anyone who could benefit from uplifting information and content. Please forward this to them. And in the description of this video below, I have a link for a PDF report of the 5 principles for self-love practice that I wrote, because it's really super helpful to help you put the idea of self-love into practice. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.